I thought it was another good day of work out there. You know, the heavy lifting part of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday. This week I thought was good. I think we got a lot of stuff done. We had a gentleman at practice today that's a pretty special guy. A gentleman by the name of Greg Macaronis, lives in East Brunswick. Has had season tickets at Rutgers for over 50 years. The tickets have been in his family since 1948. And it was great to have a chance to meet him and have him say a couple words to the team. And I think it's a tremendous testament to the loyalty of our fan base. And we're excited to get back here and play in front of them this week at High Point Solution Stadium. Questions?
Is that something you guys are going to do? Bring long-time season ticket holders to practice?
This was the way it was explained to me was that this is the only season ticket holder at Rutgers that had tickets for over 50 years. And I thought it was a good opportunity to introduce him to the team. I think that makes him a pretty special guy in my world.
Kyle, you guys are the only team in the nation with a shutout for 8 straight seasons. Obviously, most of those have been against the FCS teams. But when you hear that stat, what does that say about the defense for this program?
I think it says that we've played pretty good defense here for a long time. And if you play good defense and you're consistent, you'll have some opportunities to shut people out. It's not really a statistic that I put a lot of value in. The only statistic ultimately that matters is having one more point than the other team. But I think it just speaks to the level of defense that we've played. Because if we're the only team, when you're the only team in the country that's done something, it's usually a pretty good sign.
You said the tackling could be better. What do you do in practice to improve that?
We have a tackling circuit that we go through, and it's really just about fundamentals. And the fundamentals of our defense start with somebody setting an edge, and then everybody else on the defense pressing the hip of the ball carrier. And there's a lot of different ways you work that. There's a lot of different angles those tackles can happen in, and there's a lot of different situations for those tackles as well. You know, whether it's a one-on-one or a two-on-one. So, you know, we have a circuit that we do every day, and then you reinforce it in the team drills. Like anything else fundamentally in football or athletics, you try to break the skill down to the finer points of it in individual. Then you go to a group setting, and then you go to a team setting to try to simulate the game.
What do you want to see from Hicks and Martin before you put them in a game?
I want to see them know exactly what they have to do, understand what we're asking them to do from a technique standpoint. I think it's hard at their age to be perfect at it. But more importantly than both those things, they need to, when given the opportunity to practice, make sure they protect the ball, which they've both done a good job of last week and this week. And we'll see. There may be a place for them.
How close I'm sure they're at different levels individually, but how close are they to breaking in and getting a chance?
I think they're ready to play. I think that position in particular is a deep position for us. And it's hard to play 3 backs in a game, let alone 4. Right now, Paul and Desmond are playing good football. So and they'll have to find their way onto the field first of all on special teams, and then ultimately on offense.
Well, we feel like Federico's settled into a rhythm, A, and then B, his kickoffs appear to have more length than they have in the past. What's that attributable to?
Kyle did an excellent job 2 years ago with his kickoffs as well. He had good hang time and good location, and that showed up again in the first game. It was good. We didn't ask him to do it last year. I do think his field goal kicking has become more consistent. Other than the one day in training camp, I feel like he's had a really good fall. He had the one poor scrimmage, but other than that, I felt good about him all along. So we're pleased. I think he's kicking the ball like a third-year kid. You would expect him to kick it.
You talked about the punting situation not being satisfied with it the other day. Are you more pleased so far this week?
I'm going to hold off until I see him in the game. We need to hit the ball better in the game. And that's just the reality of it. Both those people, both those guys, Joe and Timmy, are working hard. I'm not displeased with their work ethic. I'm not displeased with how they're going about their business, but it's a performance-based business, and we got to hit the ball better on game day.
Kyle, you mentioned when you were at the FCS, memorable moments playing against the FBS. What's the one memory that sticks out for you the most?
Yeah, there were 3 occasions. You know, we played South Florida in the early stages. I'm not sure if they had made the conversion yet. We played them down in Tampa, and we beat them when I was at Hofstra. And then when UConn, the first year they were Division I, we played them at home when I was at Hofstra, and we beat them. And then I was at the University of Delaware. We went to Navy and won in 2003. I think they're all memorable for different reasons, but they're enjoyable games for the teams at that level. There's no doubt.
You're a freshman long snapper. Can you just speak on how tough it is for a guy like that to come in first year and execute well?
I think there are a lot of challenges to playing as a true freshman. He's a specialist in my mind. He's brought here for a very specific purpose and something he does very well. So I'm not surprised that he's been able to do it. The greater challenge for the freshman now is not just doing it in the first game, but doing it over the course of a season with greater academic responsibilities than they've ever had, with a longer season than they've ever been through, with a more cumbersome workload probably than they've ever had. That's where, as you go through a season, you try to monitor those freshmen and make sure that you're giving them all the resources they need to perform through the season. I don't think the challenge is necessarily doing it in game one. I think the challenge is really doing it over the course of the season.
I saw something on Twitter about you guys having like an open tryout meeting. Have you ever found anybody through those that's helped you guys out?
That's a great question. Once they're on the team, I don't worry about it. Joe
Benke.
Benke? Okay, good. Yeah, Joe Benke would be a good one then. Yeah, Joe came out and contributed for us. I'm sure there have been others. I'll have to look, but it's a good opportunity for people in the student body who want to be a part of the football program to show that they can have value and add something. You going?
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead,
How
Ron.
much? Sorry.
Dan, take your spots.
The early part of the schedule, how much strategy is involved in how you set up games? Like you play at Washington State, you come back, play at FCS, then your Big Ten opener, just over the year.
There really is not a lot. You would love to have the ability to order them in a particular way if you thought it could be an advantage to you, but it really comes down to common open dates. That's ultimately what it comes down to. There are certain things that you'll be open to for the first game of the year that you might not be open to in scheduling for the third game. I wouldn't want to make a trip to the West Coast game 3. I just think that the trip back without the long week would be very difficult. I think it's a different situation. First game of the year on a Thursday, you have an extended week to get ready for the second game. I think that's the equalizer for you. Thanks, guys.